see it. This dude's one of them. He's so funny. Let's go wild right now. Right now.
Hell yeah, man. Free comedy show on a Tuesday night. We made it, dude. We made it, mama. All right. Hope y'all are doing well, man. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I had a pretty good start to mine. I got a "You Up" text this past Friday, which is pretty exciting. Yeah, it's cool enough to get a "You Up" text when you're single. It's even better when your only plans for the evening were to binge watch Pawn Stars in your oversized sweatpants and crush a family-sized DiGiorno pizza by yourself. Because you know what they say, it's not delivery, it's depressing. Yeah. But I got undepressed. I see "You Up" on my phone and I get hype, right? So I'm about to get off the couch, grab a box of Magnums for the night to come. The ice cream bar, clearly. So I'm pretty excited until I see that it didn't come from the cute brunette next door like I was hoping. It actually came from my dad. Yeah. Don't walk up here and slap me in the face. We all know how that goes. But I saw it was my dad, which is not exciting whatsoever. Possibly the last person that you want to get a "You Up" text from, or really any text from after hours, you know what I mean? Because usually "You Up" means you're about to get laid, but for me it just meant that my father was checking in on me, which is pretty sweet, but it's also way too wide a spectrum for the same simple question. But despite feeling let down, I did tell him I was up. Great, yeah, that's a good crowd. He was wondering if I'd be able to take him to the airport the next day. So not only did I not get any that night, I now had a family obligation the next morning. Within 15 seconds, I had gone from a booty call to an "I'm on duty" call. Yeah. So, not the greatest text that I ever received. I don't really send great texts either. I just overthink them all the time. For example, I tried to ask a girl out to TGI Fridays once, so it was clearly a high-stakes situation. Yeah. This guy knows. Yeah. Or, according to one Yelp review, it was a dry steak situation. But, yeah, here we go, yeah. But I wasn't sure the best way to ask her, so I ended up drafting a bunch of different versions, because texting punctuation is, like, stupid tricky, right? Because if I use too many exclamation points, then I just come off as overly aggressive. If I only use periods, then it seems like I'm uninterested, possibly even upset at her for some reason. And then if I drop the punctuation entirely, it just looks like I don't do grammar good. So I ended up actually sending myself 4 versions of an Ask Out text just so I could see it how she would from her perspective. And I ended up feeling pretty good. I settled on a healthy blend of 1 exclamation point, 1 period, and even a semicolon just so she knew I wasn't messing around. Yeah, it's weird. We got a grammar teacher here. I felt pretty good until I looked up at my screen and saw that I had accidentally sent her all 4 versions of my Ask Out text. Yeah. So from her perspective, not only had I just asked her out 4 times within 30 seconds, but I was also super desperate for some TGI Fridays. Yeah. So it's not a great look, but there was nothing else I could do really at that point, so I just kind of sat back and waited. Minutes turned to hours until she finally got back to me. She said, "No thanks." But then she sent another text, "No thanks, period." And then another text, "No thanks, exclamation point." No, I'm kidding. She didn't really send no thanks. She actually did not say anything. Not a goddamn word. She ghosted me. Make some noise if y'all have ever been ghosted before. Yeah, a bunch of losers like myself. So there wasn't much that I could do, but sit back and wait, just for that to happen. And I think we've all been ghosted at one point or another, right? Usually it happens just talking to someone one-on-one, but it's an entirely more insulting ordeal when it happens in a group chat, right? You'll just be trying to get your squad together, throw a "y'all free this weekend?" 2 question marks because you're excited. And then next thing you know, a couple hours go by and you're just feeling like a lifeguard at an Olympic swimming event. You're on the edge of your seat, ready to go at any moment, literally any moment, but you quickly realize you're not going to be needed anytime soon. Yep. But, you know, there's no, I think that for as common as ghosting is, right, because it's more popular now than ever, but the word ghosting doesn't really make any sense, because getting ignored has nothing to do with ghosts. If anything, it's the exact opposite, right, because the only reason we think ghosts even exist are because they do things that draw attention to themselves, right? They're making voices, they're moving furniture, they're chasing Pac-Man, whereas when someone ghosts you over text, they're never to be seen or heard from again. We even have entire shows and movies dedicated to the fact that ghosts actually suck at leaving people alone, right? So I think a better definition of getting ghosted is actually if an ex texts you out of the blue, because that's very similar to like an actual ghost-like encounter. They both use vague, cryptic messaging. They're both reminders of a tragic past. And they only try to communicate with you when they're lonely in the middle of the night. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason to get hung up on ghosting, because especially in the dating game, there's so many messaging platforms out there. It's literally never been easier to keep shooting your shot, right? You have Tinder and Instagram, Bumble, Craigslist, whatever. But I'm an entrepreneur. I understand that the DMs on most of these apps are crowded markets, right? They're full, they're unoriginal, and they're predictable. So personally, I prefer to slide into the LinkedIn DMs. I strive to be a professional lover, so I need a professional network that suits my needs. But you have to keep it classy, though, right? It's like instead of, hey, babe, how you doing? Free this weekend? Winky face? Gotta keep it professional. Hello, Abigail. Hope all is well. Are you available to connect later this week? Winky face. And at the very least, if I don't get a date out of it, hopefully I'll still get a job interview, right? Actually, the last time I had a job interview, it was scheduled for 8 in the morning. I ended up oversleeping. I woke up at 8:15 with 2 missed calls and an email from the recruiter. I opened up the email, and in the subject line, she said, you up? Thanks, guys. That's my time.